You're listening to a Brain Stew Fresh Fright Review.
What's up, creeps? And welcome to another episode, a sequel to Brain Stew. Brazil. That's right, baby. We're back again with more gory goodness, bringing the horror to your eardrums. And this week we're talking about a brand new horror movie that just landed in theaters last week, which a lot of you were talking about, so we're super pumped to be here tonight. My name is Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm B-Ratty.
And thanks for listening to the show this week. If you like what you're hearing tonight, head on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and show us some love on social media. But we couldn't do this one alone. I know they say that a lot, but it's just an excuse for us to bring on amazing talents, such as the individual that's on with us this evening, our friend Joe from Movie Dumpster. What the fuck is up, dude?
What's up? What's up, man? Thanks for having me again, guys. I don't know if I'm an amazing talent, but yeah, I could talk about some movies for sure.
You are an amazing talent, sir.
Yes, you are.
Everyone sees it. Everyone sees it, and we admire it, and we love the shit out of you.
I'm just a dude, and I'm trying to, blend in with y'all because I'm an alien. So
the biggest movie talk hustler in the world right now.
Oh, please go
Seriously,
on.
You gotta get some gold chains and some diamonds on that shit.
Well, I'm definitely not getting the money, but okay, yeah, sure.
You'll get there. Believe me, you will. But this is a movie that, like I said, so many people are talking about. It's a non-IP. It's a non-franchise. It's a new original horror movie released by A24. We're talking about Ti West's X. And, well, unfortunately, it did not knock the socks off the box office. But with 2,865 theaters in its opening weekend, it finished fourth with $4.4 million. But I think, guys, it's not really that bad. And I think the real win here is that A24 gave a huge chance to something like this, and that us as horror fans got a chance to see a movie like this in the theaters. So, I mean, I don't know what else to be more thankful about than right now. I think the year in general is off to a great start for horror movies, and this was just more icing on the cake. I just wanted to go around the horn here. We'll start with you, Jeremy. I know you're a big Ti West fan. Did you have a lot anticipation leading up to this?
X gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. Dude, yeah, anytime. When the dog is fucking hungry, give him a bone.
Where my dog's at.
I just knew you were going there, bro.
Yeah, man. Anytime Ti West has a film coming out, it has my immediate attention. I went out of my way to know pretty much nothing about this film. I didn't go to the IMDb. I didn't read any synopsis. I watched the trailer, but the trailer doesn't really give away a lot. I thought it was going to be a vampire movie. Kind of just,
which still shocks me that you thought that,
dude. I don't know, man. It just the trailer with the old lady and just the tone. I'm like, all right, is she like a fucking vampire and she's gonna like start picking these kids off, trying to like steal their youth? That's kind of where I thought it was going. I was pleasantly surprised that this thing was a full-blown slasher film, man. Like, and unlike one we've ever seen before, in my opinion. So yeah, man, in seeing a Ti West movie in theaters, that's a first for me. I don't know if he's had anything that's really got a wide release like this. So it was exciting to see this. He's definitely one of my most favorite current horror directors. I mean, I literally love everything he's done. Even in the Valley of Violence, which was a Western, was fucking fantastic. So yeah, my anticipation for this film was really high.
Awesome. Joe, how about you, man?
Oh, geez, man. This was a pleasant surprise. I think the last Ti West movie that I had seen was the Innkeepers. I didn't see the Sacrament, and I didn't see what was that, In the Valley of
In the Valley of Violence.
In the Valley of Violence. Yeah, I didn't check that out, but I do want to see that. I remember when House of the Devil came out and just like blew my fucking mind. Like,
yeah,
we were in a period where the resurgence had just begun, right? I think Adam Green does Hatchet around the same time, was like 2009-ish. So you have the resurgence of the 80s slasher and bringing that all back, and the VHS boom. And I remember specifically House of the Devil coming out and it coming out on VHS, and like that was like a huge fucking deal. And I remember being at Monster Mania and like picking it up, and then wanting to be like, this is the kind of movie I want to make, and like this is what I want to do. I want to release it on tape and all that kind of stuff. But as far as this new flick goes, man, blew me away. And I'm going to echo Jeremy's sentiment in terms of the fact that this is so incredibly unheard of. A24 was like, just gave him the fucking keys to the castle. It was like, go ahead, man, you're going to write, direct, and edit this, and we're just going to put it out and see what happens. I had such a good time with this, man. It was me and one other dude in the theater sitting behind me, and it was really great. It was so nice to see not so much a return to form, but a movie made by somebody who loves the films that I love, and this echoes that sentiment. Just like, again, like House of the Devil, that 70s aesthetic and nailing it and not beating you over the head with it, And it's funny that you mentioned that you thought it was about vampires, because I thought it was going to be something like The Taking of Deborah Logan, kind of, where the old woman would be like some kind of possessed creature or something like that. I don't want to spoil too much, because I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah, but, whatever, man. We're going to go all in on this motherfucker, so you can say whatever you want about it.
Well, I'll get to it when we break it down. But yeah, I had such a good time, and I again, just like Jeremy said, like I can't remember the last time I went to the movie theater and saw an original horror movie, and that got me so fucking excited to go and sit down and see something that didn't have a fucking IP attached to it. It wasn't a remake, it wasn't a reboot, it wasn't a cash-in. It was just straight up fucking here's the deal, here's the original idea, and the execution was great. It was refreshing. Let's put it that way.
I couldn't agree more. That was the thing I said like 2 days after I saw it. It felt like a fresh steak right to the heart of the genre that it needs so badly. Brady, how about you, man? Like leading up to this, had you seen Ty West's other movies? Were you anticipating this? I know you're a big Friday the 13th fan, and this movie does echo some of those vibes at some points.
Yeah, for sure. I can't say that I'm a huge Ty West fan. I've seen House of the Devil, The Innkeepers, and I saw him in his role in You're Next, and I really like what I've seen, but with so much that I've been trying to catch up on, like he fell to the wayside. He doesn't have a lot of stuff out where I can consume all at once, When this came out, the trailer was around the same time as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Netflix, and so I was often getting the two confused, because like looking at the trailer for this, it looks like a Texas Chainsaw movie. That vibe, that kind of grimy grindhouse. Yeah. But
does it better.
It's
I mean, most people are saying this is that's exactly what most people are saying right now.
And unlike Jeremy and Joe, like this was on my radar, but I mean, when you look at the list of horror movies that are supposed to come out this year, you had Scream, you have the new Evil Dead installment, you have a bunch of Stephen King adaptations, which I'm a huge fan of. Like this was kind of middle ground for me. So I went into it. There were 3 other people in the theater, an old couple, and then some other dude on the other side of the theater.
Were you distrusting of the old couple?
About halfway through.
Were you frightened of them because they were old, Brady?
In the middle of the theater, I stood up and I said, "You can't have my youth." But I was expecting a supernatural element to keep popping up, and I guess to some extent you can say there is, but the movie just really fucking hit slashers on the head for me. Like it's part Texas Chainsaw, it's part Friday the 13th, and those are 2 of my favorite franchises, and it's just something that was great to watch and not see Leatherface or not see Jason and have its own new, unique thing. And I'm so happy that A24 gave Ty West that chance and that we got this, because like all I've been thinking about is this movie since I saw it.
Yeah, I actually had to go see this twice in theaters. I just needed to take that opportunity to do that. And it sounds like, Jeremy, were there a lot of people in your crowd tonight when you saw it, or no?
There was probably 9 people in the theater.
Okay. So I'm thankful that the first time I watched it, I got to do an advanced screening at Alamo Drafthouse, and it was packed. And I'm glad I got to see this movie with a packed theater with people that were super enthusiastic about it, because those are those feelings that I always feel like I missed out on in the 80s, because I was born in the 80s, but I wasn't of proper age to go and see all the huge slashers in the cinema and see, when you hear these stories from older people that got to live that, you know, being in that room with like-minded people and being excited and shouting and laughing, and it had that same feeling to me. So because of the aesthetic of the movie and that it takes place in 1979, I was transported back, you know. And leading up to this was definitely one of my most anticipated horror movies. It's been fucking over 10 years since Ty West has made a horror movie. Yeah. So it literally is a miracle that, you know, he had this idea.
I would argue that The Sacrament's a horror film, though. Is that 10 years old already?
I have no idea. I just know that
it actually might be close to that.
He wrote an email, or he wrote like a long thing, and A24 emailed it to everyone if you're on their list or whatever. And he had just said it had been like almost 10 years.
Dude, yeah. It's been 9 years since he made The Sacrament. Yeah. Holy fuck, dude, time goes by quick now.
So, that's some crazy shit. But I mean, going into this, the trailers looked great. I mean, it just looked beautiful. And there are certain things you expect when it says the name A24 before it. So I always expect a prestige, like a very classy look to the movie. There's always a similar tone throughout most of them. But this had the best of everything. It had that beautiful, beautiful cinematography done by Elliot Rocket, who did, you know, The Innkeepers, House of the Devil as well. Like gorgeous fucking A24 cinematography, but it still felt like those classic exploitation early slashers that we fucking love and die for so much.
You just nailed it, dude. That classic look. That cinematographer knows how to shoot a film to look like the films that we love, that we hold so dear to us, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that first opening shot.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Just from I think it's from the barn, the angle from the barn, just of the house, that super wide shot. And it just lingers there for like a good minute and a half until actual movement and characters start to go into the frame. It's beautiful. You don't see horror directors do that very often anymore.
For that part too, like opening with showing all these bodies covered with sheets, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, are they going to give us a movie where everybody in this movie actually like fucking dies?
I thought that's where they were going to, man. I was like, dude,
super stoked for it.
Yeah. I was like, well, this is not going to end well for anyone, I think.
It keeps you guessing, that's for sure. It makes the tension, it jacks it up, actually, to tell you the truth.
Well, you know what? I'll give the synopsis real quick in case.
I was just about to have one of you come up with the most half-assed version of it that you could.
Just in case, you know, somebody's listening to this has no idea what the fuck this is, because I certainly didn't until 2 hours ago. I literally, Joe, I just got home from the theaters. Like, I literally just saw this movie.
Oh man, so you haven't really like fully processed this yet.
No, but I mean, I know how I feel about it enough that I can talk on it. Yeah. So the plot for X is, in 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast finds themselves fighting for their lives. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. Man, Martin Henderson as Wayne was Matthew McConaughey. He was fucking
100%
Matthew McConaughey.
All right, baby. We're gonna make a fucking pornography film. Here we go.
Holy goddamn shit, that was amazing. Oh my god, that was fucking perfect.
On top of all of his other talents, Joe is also a voice actor.
Holy shit.
I'm not a voice actor, but I like to do voices. It's fun.
Dude, yeah.
And McConaughey's funny as shit. But yeah, no, I totally agree, man.
I'm like, man, could you imagine if they would have actually gotten Matthew McConaughey to be in this movie? Like, I mean,
I think it would have took me out of it.
Really?
To tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Joe. I actually loved that the cast was all. I mean, there's Jenna Ortega, Mia Goth, whatever. They're names, but they're not
Brittany
Kid Cudi,
Snow.
but they're not huge box office stars, and that's what I loved about this. And it was another huge aspect of those early slasher movies that I love is they're just like young, slightly unknown actors in there. They're not big stars.
I actually didn't like, what is it, Jenna Ortega? I didn't like her in Scream 5, but I liked her in this film. So there you go.
I mean, I think she did a great job in that movie. I think she did a good performance, but I found myself wanting to, I'm going to apologize right now on air for saying this, but I felt like I wanted to, is that, I don't know, because she's constantly sniveling the entire time. And
kind of, yeah. I can get with that for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, here
she's
I am.
great in this, though. I love her. I love her arc in this.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that's the one thing we jump off with the fucking cast. I think it's a brilliant cast of characters. I think all of the characters are really fleshed out pretty well, and they're all very individual. It goes back to that slasher playbook where, you'll have the goofball, or you'll have, when you look at archetypal characters, you have those here. And I think it's a great chemistry within the group of all of them, too.
Yeah, I think what makes it work really well, too, is like you get a certain level of attachment to all of them that makes it more impactful when they all die. Which is a perfect example of all the things that we're not getting now, and everybody says that you don't need in a film. But you do. Even some of those older slashers, man, it's there if you're looking for it, and this definitely delivers on that front for sure.
Yeah, they a lot of times in horror, they introduce characters that they intentionally try to make you dislike a little bit, so when it is time for them to get picked off, you're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, kill that motherfucker. But this one, like you said, Brady, this one felt like Ty West really put a whole lot into all these characters to make them likable. Flawed, absolutely. Strange and different, absolutely, but likable. I mean, you almost even kind of feel for the villain a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. You're like, oh man, like, we're all going to be there at some point. We're all going to be old, looking back at when we were young and seeing young people and wishing that, like, that you could go back to that moment. I get it.
Well, you guys do it to me all the time. I know. I mean, you guys are basically Pearl on this camera every time.
I've been trying to steal your youth since the moment I met you, Brady. That's why.
Jeremy's
that's why
over
we
there
allowed
singing
you to be
Landslide in his basement.
Bro, why do you think every Friday we would have to go out and drink together? Seriously.
Oh man,
live my life around B-Ratty Alada.
I want to be 25 again. Give it to me right now.
That fucking scene was great. I got to tell you something. When they played Landslide, I was like, okay, you got me. And you know what? I fucking cried at that part because, especially now, I don't know if you guys echo the same sentiment, but when I listen to that song now, I'm like, oh shit, I know what Stevie's talking about
now. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh damn. And then like seeing the character of Pearl and that kind of descent. I don't know. Again, Jeremy put it perfectly. You have some empathy for the quote unquote villain of the story for sure.
Yeah, and the movie definitely deals with age and sexuality pretty strongly. Is very heavy themes, and that's something
religious tones, big time.
We haven't seen.
There's butt, dick, fucking boobies.
There's old people fucking in this movie.
LaVare is fucking dung, dude.
Dude, that was so fucking good.
Did you guys laugh a lot in this film?
Yeah.
Like, dude, this movie is so fucking hilarious and great.
I laughed at it with it, not at it.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. I feel like a lot of people are going to laugh at this movie.
Yeah, no, I
think
because
maybe some of the
you know
GA,
what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, some of the people that go to see like every fucking Conjuring movie,
So
exactly.
I had to ask you guys too. I was talking to Justin about this the other day, and I was reading some reviews like right after I saw it, and I saw like a bunch of people were complaining that Ty West was like furthering the stereotype about old people being ugly and gross and aging is disgusting. Did you guys get like that? Like, I didn't feel like that's what he was going for. I think the makeup work was great.
They made the two central, spoiler alert, the two central villains, they made them disgusting. Like, there's no, I mean, literally, I sent you guys a picture and I posted it on Facebook.
Fucking Gargamel and Karg.
Dude,
Masters of the Universe.
Howard that plays the old Pearl's husband. He literally, I was like, that's fucking Gargamel. I was like, it looks like a mix between Reggie Bannister from Phantasm, and Gargamel. Like, holy shit.
Oh my god, I was gonna say the dude from Terrorvision. the guy who helps Garrett Graham install the fucking satellite dish.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Kind of looks just like him, dude. If he got old, and he probably looks like him now too. I forget the actor's name. He's in a bunch of Full Moon shit,
dude.
Yeah, the one thing that as soon as I saw Stephen Ure plays Howard, the makeup. I mean, at first I thought it, because they didn't show his face for I think the first 15 minutes he's on screen. And then when I started seeing more and more of his face, I'm like, man, that's kind of really fucked up. Like, they found a guy that looks like that. I'm like, no, it's makeup. And I realized he reminded me of something I'd already seen. And then I realized, I was like, oh man, this guy's worked on Mask before as like goblins and different kind of monsters in the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies. And then I was like, oh yeah, they shot this in New Zealand and Weta worked on it. So that kind of makes sense that this guy had that pedigree in him. And that's why they would choose someone like that.
Sure.
He was incredible. Yeah. Let's throw that out there too. He was fucking amazing.
Goodness. Him and Mia Goth, let me tell you something, man. Just real quick before we move on. Yeah, the idea of what Brady was saying about the stigma around getting old and things like that, I think that's some bullshit, because we are shown a scene where they both think each other is still beautiful and they love each other and stuff, and getting old is okay, but it does suck, Let's not mince words. I mean, it does,
dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into this. The scene where the old couple fuck. Oh my god, dude. I looked at my buddy Dave was with me, and when it was like leading up to us, I looked over at him. I went and I whispered, because it's a fucking movie, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, dude, they better not. and Howard's like, what about my heart, Pearl? And she was like, I think you'll be just fine. And then all of a sudden,
just come on and stick it in there, sweetheart. Let's go.
You see his old fucking ass thrusting in. Dude, his first big thrust, he was like, yeah! Dude, I laughed so fucking hard that people in the theater probably were like, wow, this guy's really enjoying this scene.
That scene is like this macabre, beautiful, tension-ridden scene, because Mia Goth's under the fucking bed the whole time while these two are plowing each other.
And how often do you see people of that age fucking?
Dude,
ever? You don't.
You know
when
what
you see that
what's really funny? I'm glad you said that, Justin. Because dude, I watched Jacob's Wife with Barbara Crampton and Larry Fessenden, and they actually have
still need to see that,
dude. Yeah, it's a really fun movie, man. I highly suggest it. The Bonnie Aaron that plays the nun in the Nun movies and The Conjuring and shit like that, she plays a vampire in that movie, she looks fucking rad. But anyway, so
sick. Dude,
there is a sex scene with Barbara Crampton and Larry Fessenden where Barbara Crampton is actually nude in the scene, and she was on Mick Garris's podcast, and they talked about that. And Mick was like, people when they get to a certain age, they typically don't do nude sex scenes, but you went for it, and yeah, that doesn't happen very often. And
that's because Barbara Crampton is a fucking goddess, dude. She is a vampire.
Oh man, she was at Monster Mania like a week ago or whatever, and holy fuck, I'm like, yeah, she's like in her mid 50s, if not late 50s, and she is fucking smoking hot still.
Oh yeah, man, and she's such a sweetheart too. I missed out on that. Bummer.
Yeah. So anyways, but it is rare to have older people fucking on in movies. So
but old people be fucking, man.
And like Joe was saying too, the scene is there to make you uncomfortable, but also the whole time you're feeling uncomfortable, I was thinking about it. I was dissecting it in my head, like I shouldn't really. This is almost beautiful in a way, and I'm like, I shouldn't be feeling that uncomfortable. It's just two human beings that have aged,
So
Justin,
so many emotions, dude. Really,
Justin
honestly.
looked down at his dick and he was like, "I don't give a fuck how old we get. We're fucking still."
Can I ask something that's going to spoil the movie?
Yeah.
Or do I have to wait?
B-Ratty. Do you need to be?
Put me to bed. Put me over your knee.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead. You're allowed.
Spoiler alert. Howard dies at the end. He dies from a heart attack. Do you think that if he and Pearl hadn't have had sex, he would have survived?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, he would have survived. I mean, no, it has nothing to do with the sex, is what I meant to say. Sorry.
I mean, it's entirely
his heart
possible.
was already weak.
You could think of it either way.
He was already worked up, yeah.
Yeah, his heart could still be. I mean, because literally,
he was putting in some good thrusts.
they
His
get
heart was
done
going.
banging, and then they come towards the house, and it's like within the next couple minutes, he's on the ground. You know,
Since we're talking about spoilers, I don't know what the fuck would make your heart race faster than shooting somebody in the chest with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Besides sex, like, come on,
dude, that was a tense ass scene, man. I loved it, and also I loved that Kid Cudi's character was, he's walking around, he's trying to help this old man, find Pearl, his wife, and he ends up finding a car that has been intentionally pushed in that lake. So it lets us, the audience, know, these elderly people have been killing people for a long time, probably. And I'm going to jump around a little bit. The scene where Jenna Ortega's character is put in the basement, in the cellar, there's a dude that's butt naked, fucking dick dangle city status. And I thought that was her boyfriend's character initially. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, no, he pretty much kind of got decapitated. So it was somebody else that they had just...
It was the dude from the milk carton.
Oh, damn, dude.
Oh, was it really?
See, when Kid Cudi goes to drink out of the milk carton, I looked again the second viewing, and I was like, oh, that's the dude. That's a little, Easter egg there.
Damn.
Set up some payoffs, man.
Pirata alada.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I noticed in this movie, even, my first viewing, because when I saw the movie, they had not announced the news until literally, like, I got out of the cinema. I saw on Twitter someone post about, the fact that he had already filmed Pearl, and it was already a thing in terms of a prequel, but I could tell in the movie that there was like this world building going on with, obviously the car in the pond or whatever, homage to Psycho, but I was like, this is leading to other stuff. I was like, there's so many little bits and pieces here to connect the dots. I'm like, they're leading up to something more. I'm like, or they were setting up for a possible sequel.
That's where you lose me a little bit.
Yeah, he says that he already wrote a sequel as well. So it's like, my thing is like, how do you do a sequel to this? And while I'm thinking of it, one missed opportunity that I saw in this fucking film, just one thing that would have made me so goddamn happy as a Ty West fan, was throughout the film there is a
Tom Noonan.
Dude, is he in? Well, yeah, that too. I was about to say, is he in this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But the preacher that's on the television and kind of throughout the movie, dude. If it would have been the same actor from The Sacrament and it would have gone full circle with that, I would have been like the happiest motherfucker on the planet. Because like, it would have worked and it would have been such a nice nod to his other film. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Endless from Benson and Moorhead. So in that film, there are two characters that are stuck in that loop that is from another one of his films, and it was just a huge nod to fans of that. So like, I just felt like it wouldn't have changed anything in the movie, but it would have been a nice nod. So while I was thinking of it, I wanted to fucking throw that out there. And Joe,
I'm into
Joe,
that.
You got to watch The Sacrament, man.
I do need to check out The Sacrament. Just real quick. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but like, I don't think, that's what's going to keep this film from being almost perfect for me, is that sequel. And it's like, I don't need all those things answered, and that's what I loved so much about this, because there was all of those little things like you were saying, and I was like, this is great, because now my brain is working, and I'm saying, oh my god, how long have they been fucking doing this shit? What exactly is the deal with this? Whose fucking car is that? I don't need to know, and I like it that way, But that's me personally.
I know what you mean. That's the double-edged sword in today's movie making, because if the option for a sequel is always going to be on the table with every fucking thing. So
I mean, dude, they had a post-credits fucking scene, for Christ's sake.
It's a teaser for Pearl. It's a teaser.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Somebody sent me that on Twitter, and I was like, oh, and I was like, I don't. Me personally, I don't need that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, that's there, obviously. When I saw it at the press screening or whatever, they didn't show that because the movie hadn't come out yet. So I didn't even know that was a thing until people were tweeting about it and shit. And I was like, oh, did I miss something? But no, I liked the footage. I mean, it looks interesting. It looks like totally different visually than what we saw in this movie.
It looks insane.
But, is that her grandma?
What's that?
Is that her grandmother? Mia Goth's grandmother?
We don't know. We don't know that it's possible.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean,
It's the same actress.
Yeah, she's Mia Goth's
Incredible.
playing Pearl in that too. Yeah, so
I didn't know if you want to talk about that.
Did you guys catch that during the film or after?
what?
That Mia Goth was playing Pearl.
I knew that she was wearing makeup, but I didn't know it was Mia Goth.
Yeah.
I knew it was a younger woman, but I didn't know. I thought she was gonna like turn young or like eat one of these people and become young or something. But I was like, that bitch is wearing makeup. She's not old for real.
Well, also you're an expert on that, right? So you can tell.
Well, I'm not an expert. I just have an eye for it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with.
I didn't know for sure at first. I didn't know Mia Goth was Pearl. Definitely didn't, because I didn't look into that or anything like that. But about halfway through the movie, I was like, man, she does look really fucking ugly, like creature-like in terms. It was just the makeup was really well done, but it was also kind of overdone at times. Like,
Oh yeah, I had no idea it was her.
Yeah.
I didn't know that going in for sure.
Dude, Joe, I'm with you. I thought, like, okay, she's gonna fucking eat one of these people or like absorb their energy and like, make them like a skeleton
Right.
and become young again. When she got in bed with Brittany Snow's character, which, by the way, can we talk about Brittany Snow for a second? Jesus Christ! Like,
I've been waiting since 2004 for this.
yeah,
And I got it.
you got it. Saved in the memory bank. There it is.
I've been waiting since Vin Diesel's The Pacifier for this.
Yeah, she is just smoke show in everything that she's in, but she's a fucking smoke show. But no, it wasn't Brittany Snow. I'm sorry, it was Mia Goth when
Yeah, it was Mia Goth. I was gonna say, am I
no.
wrong?
Maxine Mink.
Yeah. No, it was.
I was
I was
gonna
like,
say,
oh shit, I just sounded like a dope.
I think my mind just wanted to talk about Brittany Snow, and it was like,
Hey man, you're
He's
That's
been
all right.
thinking about it all
But-
night. Like, I gotta get this
yeah,
out.
when Pearl got into Maxine's bed and started caressing her and shit, I was like, she's gonna absorb her. It's coming. It's gonna happen. And instead, it was just her rubbing her bloody, grimy, dirty fucking hands on her, which was disgusting.
I just thought like this old bitch is just gonna fuck everybody.
Well,
I mean,
that's the thing I thought
it's-
too.
GVD, man, Granny Van Dam. I don't mean to fucking interject movie dumpster in this motherfucker, but that's who she is. She's looking to take our clothes off and fuck people,
oh
man.
my god, Granny Van Dam.
Oh, hey, boys. Hey, you epic
'Cause-
film guys, boys. You like my naked ass or what?
Because the dude in the basement hanging there was like basically there to have sex with her, right?
I guess.
Because the whole thing that I got from it, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, is that Howard couldn't have sex with her anymore because of his heart. Or he didn't want to because of his heart. And so they kept this dude naked, tied up in the basement to have sex with her. But then she also wants to have sex with Maxine because she's like telling her husband Howard, like, oh no, that's the one I want. I don't care about anybody else.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, man, because I didn't know if she was like, oh, that's the one she's going to pick because she's going to absorb her and then, like, turn into her or some shit.
I was,
Yeah.
You know?
I was waiting for that as well.
But that's a good angle, too.
But I also love the fact that, like, sex was the answer for, like, all of that couple's problems, because once they fuck in that porno fucking studio shack that's on their property, right? Once they fuck, she's like, everything's better now. We found each other again. Like, essentially she's saying we don't have to kill people anymore or do this anymore because, like, we're back to being us again. Like, we're back to fucking.
They must have not fucked for, like, what, 60
no
years?
shit.
No, not that long, but a long-ass time.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that moment there where, like, again, Joe was saying earlier, and I agreed, there's so much emotion in that scene. Then afterward, it makes you think about, like, being that old and not being able to do those things, not being able to have that kind of passion and with your spouse or whatever, like
Or a relationship with your wife.
yeah. I mean, whatever, it makes it difficult, especially if, when you're older. It doesn't mean those feelings go away. They get smaller, but you're still
Justin,
human.
I'm all better now.
Yeah.
I'm all better now.
Him and his one fucking tooth, man. One fucking tooth. Like,
Oh man,
that's like, man.
Just pluck it at that point. Just take it out.
he can fucking slurp up all his soup with
I
that
mean, honestly,
smile.
he could be slurping that pussy,
Oh
dude.
my
He's
God.
doing that for her. That ain't gonna give him a heart attack.
Right.
I'm just gonna gum that shit.
I mean,
No man, he's like a fucking World War II fucking hero. He's not fucking going down on anybody.
That's true.
know,
He's been in
if
a couple
he-
foxholes
if
already.
he treats his dick like he treats his teeth, no wonder his sex life is in the tank.
Oh God.
So my question is, let's talk about favorite kills. What was your guys' favorite kill in this movie?
Oh, that's so hard. Man.
I got 2.
That's cheating,
Joe,
Brady. I said fucking
what's your
1.
favorite?
I don't give a fuck.
Damn. Don't talk to your dad like that.
You're not my real dad.
None of your dads are your real dad.
I'm your real fucking dad. I'm taking the title. Damn it. No, but Joe, what was your favorite, dude?
Honestly, dude,
Yeah.
I gotta go with that first one. That is just my fucking brand. With the stabbing, and then like, oh my god, she stabbed him, and then it was like, oh, she's just gonna keep stabbing him until his head is almost fucking detached from his body.
It was delicious.
Poor RJ.
Dude, and then she like
You get a little fucking Evil Dead there with the blood on the lights and shit.
And then she does like a weird ballet dance in front of his fucking pretty much decapitated body.
Man, that shot was so beautiful.
That was.
It's like her release, dude.
Yeah.
My favorite kill was definitely Bobby Lynn, Brittany Snow's character, and the gator. Because I was waiting
That was a great setup
throughout this entire movie for a gator to kill someone. And
Well, dude, yeah.
when you look back at the movie, though, like, Justin, I don't know if you caught this your second time around. I went and saw it again today.
In the beginning, dude.
She's walking out of the strip club, and she's got a gator pulling her panties.
Bayou Burlesque. Yeah, you see the blonde chick painted up there with the alligator grabbing off her bikini bottoms. So I noticed that first viewing. I was like, but I never connected that. And then later on, I was like, oh shit, dude, they totally had that in there. Yeah, that was fucking beautiful.
But it was so good because I thought that Kid Cudi's character was going to get the gator when he finds the flashlight that Howard had planted there. I was like, cool, like a gator's going to come up and get him. And then when that didn't happen, it kind of just went out of my mind. And then you're back at the pier, and I was like, oh shit, like this is how it ends for her. And I thought it was great.
It's called master storytelling because my goodness.
Yeah, bitch.
And that looked good too. I mean, the alligator in that shot looked fantastic, man. It looked legit for sure. That's probably. I mean, I have to say that might be my favorite. I mean, but at the same time, Joe's. That was when that hit, and I think we have to talk about this in this conversation when it comes to the kills. The movie, like, I know Jeremy loves these. A slow burn. It waits. It waits.
Yeah, me
and
too.
when you finally get it, that first kill, and I saw some people like complaining, well, the rest of the kills are so quick, you don't see much. I'm like, dude, seriously, that first kill was so brutal and amazing. That's all I really needed. It set the bar. And then everything else after that was just good. You know what I mean?
It's just well placed and impactful is what it is. Like you can cut, like obviously we just talked about Texas Chainsaw 2022. You can fucking cut heads off and hands and have a whole fucking massacre in a bus, and that's great for certain movies. But like I can appreciate, like just like you, Justin, and everybody else, like we took our time to get there, and then when it finally fucking happened, you're like, oh shit. Yeah. Another one that fucking scared the shit out of me was when Ortega was coming out of the, she hatchets her way out of the fucking basement.
Oh man, the hand.
And dude comes up and smashes her fucking hand with a shotgun butt. Oh my god! I in the theater. I was like, oh,
dude! I grabbed my hand. I grabbed my fucking hand and like put it under my arm.
I want to talk about her real quick since we're here. And I know Joe, you said you weren't a huge fan of her in Scream 5. Justin same, but like when she
not her fault. I think it's the script's fault.
When she finds that body in the basement, her scream was fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
The facial reaction, like,
big time.
She's gonna go so fucking far.
Oh yeah, definitely Scream Queen in the making for sure.
I
mean, just needs the, she was in Studio 666 for 5 seconds too, but I mean, she's on her way there, man. And now is a time where that title means something to people, whereas 5, 10, 20 years ago, being a couple horror movies, that was kind of like something you wanted to be hidden under the carpet. But
or like a stepping
now
stone,
it's like, well, I could be the next Scream Queen. And it's awesome that, actresses are out there striving for that. And she did a great job in this movie.
She did. Dude, actually, she's my favorite kill in this movie because I did not expect for her to go out at that exact moment. It was a surprise kill. And the reaction of when she runs outside and instantaneously, bam, and she goes flying backwards, dude. I was like, oh shit, like, dude, I almost thought that like maybe I guess because her star is rising, I was like, dude, maybe she's gonna be the one that makes it out alive. I didn't fucking know, man, and it
kept you guessing, and that was the best. That was one of the best parts.
It did, and I I loved it. It wasn't, the most elaborate kill or anything, but it was one that made you go, oh shit. Which
it made you jump out of your seat a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate kills like that. They kind of catch you off guard.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, I know we've seen it done so many times before. It was probably the most Italian-esque thing in the movie, but Wayne's the pitchfork through the eyes was just fucking amazing. And then what came after that, though, just Pearl standing over the body with her shadow up against the wall with her with the pitchfork was just beautiful imagery. And then she's just like trying to cover him with hay. I don't know.
Why'd she need to cover him?
I don't know. But I thought that was just a great scene in general. Yeah.
To not alert anybody, I guess. Brady, you mentioned Church Mouse, dude. Ortega's arc in this, I don't know about you. I want to talk a little bit about the way I felt for a lot of the non-murderous aspects of this film. So they're making a porno, right?
Well, an elevated porno, an A24 porno, right?
But they're making a porno, and there's this guy who wants to make a good film out of the porno, and his girlfriend is Ortega. So she's watching Mia Goth and that other chick get fucked by this dude, by Kid Cudi, and she's like, oh my god, you have sex because you have sex without like loving the person or whatever, and she's like, it's just sex or whatever. But then she is like this uptight, like prude chick, and then all of a sudden she's like, well, I want to be in the movie, and dude is like, no, you can't be in the movie, you can't get fucked by Kid Cudi, and I'm not gonna film it. And she's like, no, I want the big black dingus. And he's like, no, we're
he said
dating.
That thing will kill you.
Can't do that. But like, dude, when he has to shoot this, right? They're like, what the fuck?
He wasn't the only one shooting, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but dude has to shoot all of this, and then like later he's in the bath, the shower, like crying and shit. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, we've all fucking been there, right? Like, getting cheated on or just whatever. I don't know. It just hit pretty fucking hard, and it had no like horror aspect to it. The juxtaposition of that, of what happens right after that scene, is great to me.
Absolutely,
in my opinion.
Dude. It's also kind of jarring how much he looks like one of the actors from the Evil Dead remake. Like, they look like the same person. It's unbelievable.
Kinda, yeah.
I would also say that Kid Cudi's character, I always forget his fucking name. It keeps slipping. Anybody have his name?
Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson. I didn't even know it was Kid Cudi until you guys said it, and I was like, oh shit. I'm thinking to myself in my head, like, wow.
I think his death was the most tragic of them all, because like he's been through Vietnam. He talks about how farmers shot at him, and he's just trying to be a good person and help this guy find his wife, even though the dude's like been pointing a gun to him and probably shouldn't trust him, but he's like, oh yeah, once a Marine, always a Marine, right? And then just to get fucking blown away.
Yep.
That was like the whole coup de grace, dude. Once a Marine, always a Marine, and then just gets fucking murked.
Yep. I gotta comment on that I was so happy that there was no racial aspect to those scenes. You could tell there was tension between those two characters. Old man, black dude, you could tell he didn't like him, but I was just happy that we didn't have to hear, any racial slurs or anything like that. Because I felt like that could have been in there and it would have really put people off.
Agree.
I didn't need it.
Yeah, you can have the tension there. You can tell what he's feeling, or they're both feeling, if you will, without having to say that. And it just goes to show you can do those scenes without having to bring that word into the mix.
I love that, although they're on this property filming a porno, that these people, and Mia Goth's character Maxine is doing coke like the whole time. They're drinking, some of the characters are drinking beer. That despite all those things, they're still good people. Like, none of them...
And likable.
Yeah, none of them dismiss the elderly couple. They're not like, hey, your wife's missing. Hope you find her. Have a good night. They're all like, well, let me help you. Like, are you okay? Like, even when she, that first kill where she holds that guy and she wants to be embraced, he doesn't, like, immediately push her away. He's like, okay, like, maybe this lady needs some love. Like, something's wrong. So, like, he kind of stands there and hugs her and, like, allows himself to be hugged. Like, all of the characters are just, they're nice and they're helpful, and it completely goes against a lot of the tropes that we get in horror films with unlikable characters.
That's a big message of the film, Jeremy. The fact that, like, you don't need to be this by the book religious Christian churchgoer or whatever, you can do all this debauchery but still be a good person, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, it made them real people. That was exactly. I mean, I felt like I could relate to them, and typically these characters would be people that you are supposed to dislike, and I ended up finding something charming about every one of them. I mean, maybe minus RJ, the cameraman. I appreciated they put like a film buff in there, like someone that really wanted to make a movie, but he's probably the least likable, but I still liked him. You know what I mean? So like our main group of characters were all likable, which again is very rare in a slasher movie.
Yeah. And they all have their place too.
Yeah, exactly.
So to make all the cogs to make it all work, So
yeah, 100%.
Fucking great film.
Yeah. I mean,
I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I loved the shit out of this movie. I felt like, coming out of it, I was just so thankful that it exists and so appreciative because we just don't see movies like this. I mean, and I've always said, and I'm not a filmmaker, so I can't really say that I've ever done it myself, but it's not rocket science. I mean, this kind of movie, if you look at the basics of what makes them successful, it's all basic. It's all right there in front of you. Just follow what's there and then do something fresh with it like this movie did. You know what I mean? And look how successful that can be. Not financially, but in terms of the audience reaction. I mean, I've yet to see anyone say they hated this movie. I'm sure there's people out there that have said it, but the vast majority of horror fans seem to really take away a lot of positivity from this movie.
It's hard to compare it to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really compare it to something. Be like, oh, this is totally this, and it's not. I
mean, the thing that I've seen thrown around the most is Texas Chainsaw because it has that visual aesthetic to it a little bit.
Yeah, it has a feel of it. It has the feel of that 74 Tobe Hooper movie,
sure.
But it's not.
No, not
that.
at all.
Like, when I'm sure you guys have said it too, but like when I say Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74, like I don't mean that it is like that movie in terms of what that movie is, but just how it feels. Mm-hmm. Like when I walked into this, when I sat the fuck down and that opening shot came up, I don't know about y'all, but like it was like, oh, it's summertime and I'm hot and sweaty and disgusting and I love it.
Oh yeah, you can smell the fresh air and the weeds, and I definitely
the dead bodies.
Yeah, the fucking blood and gore. That was all wonderful actually, and I loved that it had those elements at the forefront so much.
I got big Texas Chainsaw 74 vibes, like in the scene where their van pulls up to the house, but also Friday the 13th Part 3. Like that kept just sticking in my head the entire time with this group of kids. Minus Shelley, of course.
Part 3 is my favorite, dude.
I love
3. I think it's a little underrated in terms of like the stories being told there, because like again, Justin had just said it, like, oh, a lot of slashers aren't known for their stories, but like there's a chick in that's dealing with like PTSD from getting attacked by Jason, or she doesn't know it's Jason,
/ raped, whatever, wherever they're
going / raped or whatever, and then dealing with her like overbearing guy that she slept with one time that's there. Then we got the other Spanish chick who has to deal with all her family life that we kind of get a glimpse into, and then Shelley, who's the outcast who can't fucking hang out with anybody because he's just too busy being a dick because he's overcompensating. There is a lot of good characters in that film.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll have to have you on to talk about that one. That's not one that has ever been covered on the Epic Film Guys or Brain Stew, and I'd love to talk about that one. So
that's my fave, dude. I mean, besides 5, and I like I like what 5 does for the series. But anyway,
yeah. Which, as of this recording, is celebrating its 37th anniversary. So happy 37th anniversary to them, damn enchiladas.
To Roy, here's to you.
Yeah, there it is. But we're going to go around.
I'll tell you what, I got 2 chocolate bars, but I can only give one of you one of them, okay? You could just forget it.
Motherfucker gets hacked up because of a chocolate bar. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's the world coming to?
Speaking of porn, the director of that movie, Danny, what's his last name?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
I'm calling a blank.
Danny.
I'm calling a blank.
Well, whatever it is. Dude.
Yeah,
I'm not going to cheat.
Yeah, well, anyways, he had filmed some like porno and smut before making that movie. So
the only movie I know
like
he did before that was Savage Streets.
Danny Steinman.
Yeah. I met him once at a Monster Mania. I think he only did 1 or 2 shows, but yeah, he filmed porno much like the people in the movie X, and he he later made a horror film, and the people in X lived a horror film. So, there's that little
Maybe it's a
correlation.
biography.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Yeah.
No, that's really interesting because you can see the echoes of that in that film big time.
But we're going to go around the horn, guys. Right now, we're going to do that little segment on the show we call Trash It or Treasure It. And we're going to start with our guest, Joe. I think I already know your answer to this, but we got to throw it to you. Trash it or treasure it?
Oh, treasure it, baby. Right on. On my show, we like to say it's on the shelf big time. Like I said in the beginning, I mean, this is just a very refreshing foray into the genre, especially the fact that it was released, I got a wide release. I was able to go and see this in the theater, and that to me is kind of priceless. A lot of this shit is going to streaming. I mean, God knows how much shit is fucking going to streaming. Everybody and their fucking mother is making a film and putting it on streaming platforms, but with so much noise and there's so much to weed through and the things that kind of get lost in the kerfuffle, I'm glad that this one was able to kind of shine through all of that and come out theatrically, and everybody's making a big deal of it being in theaters, which is in turn giving it more press or notoriety, which is great. So more eyes get on it. It just feels good to me because we have a very well-crafted film. Ty West is on his fucking A-game with this. It's not going to be for everybody, but it was certainly for me. It echoes, all like we just talked about, it echoes, that Texas Chainsaw 74 feel. It's dripping with that 70s aesthetic that I love so much, that we got in House of the Devil, that I just loved so much. And then we get a slasher in that universe, with all of that aesthetic kind of surrounding it, and it's an original, fun movie that makes you think, and it's just well crafted, and the storytelling's great, and I cannot wait to see it again. I didn't get a chance to go see it again in the theater, but I'm gonna try to before it gets out for sure.
Jeremy, what you think? Trash it or treasure it, baby?
Treasure. I fucking love this movie,
curious,
dude.
man.
I fucking loved. I loved this movie, man. I loved every single thing about this movie. It was shot so beautifully. I loved the characters. I loved the villains. I loved the motivations. I loved the humor. I loved the gore. This was an absolute home run for me, man. Absolute home run. So yeah, treasure the fuck out of this.
B-Ratty?
Oh yeah, this is definitely being treasured. I mean, I'm just gonna echo what Joe and Jeremy have already said. It's a fucking love letter to slashers, man, and that's what we're all about on this show. And it's a love letter without ripping them off, right? So it's its own thing, and the characters are great, and you feel for other characters, even the villains. Like Pearl and Howard have such a great storyline, which is why I'm personally excited for the prequel Pearl, because I want to see more of this character that I'm so conflicted about, Yeah,
I want to see how they got to where they got. That's going to be really interesting.
Exactly. And the scenery is great. I think the shots are great. Joe, you hit something perfectly with that first kill, the Evil Dead. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck that is. And it's just...
Oh, yeah, in the basement with the light bulb and on the headlights, yeah.
There's just so much about this movie that I find to love, and the more I think about it, the more it pops up. So this is definitely going to be one that I watch over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I think that this definitely has rewatchability. I mean, a lot of times these kinds of movies, you'll want to wait a while before you see it again. I couldn't wait to see this again. Then it was just as good on my second viewing as it was the first time, and I knew everything that was coming. For me, it's 100% treasure the fuck out of this thing. This is one of my favorite modern horror movies in the past. I can't even tell you how many years. I usually don't like to throw around big words like that, but I mean, really, it seriously knocked my fucking socks off. And I've been saying for so long, in general, in conversation or on this show, when it comes to slasher movies, I've never understood why it's so hard for filmmakers to make a successful one. I mean, there are good ones that come out or ones that I really like, but they seem to have so many problems. But somehow here, Ty West just crafted this beautiful love letter. And I say love letter because it's not a ripoff. If it's done with care and precision and the kind of beautiful, he just took it in his hands very gently and calmly, and took what he loved and just shaped it a little bit and gave it to us. And I think it was just done perfectly. I love how the movie waits and gives you that slow burn, great suspense, beautiful imagery. And something we didn't touch on that I really enjoyed was that, in as much as I love synth, I love fucking synthwave, I love synth scores, we got a really haunting, different score from Tyler Bates and Chelsea Wolfe.
Yes.
Something very operatic at times, a little bit weird and ethereal. But I listen, like 10 years ago, I was all about all the horror movies using synth scores again. But now it seems like every fucking movie is doing it and it all sounds the same. So it was a breath of fresh air again to have something a little bit different and something that was kind of strange to hear with the 70s setting. But that, along with all of the needle drops, worked here. You know, Fear the Reaper on with that first kill, beautiful. And, you know, that could have gone either way for me because it's such a popular song. Loved it. I loved every fucking thing about this movie. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to buy this shit. I ordered some of the merch from A24, which is super fucking expensive, but I didn't care. I was like, fuck it, dude. I'll take that shit. I got to support this movie, but ladies and gentlemen,
man, you just fucking nailed it with how Ty West taking this and tenderly giving it the care and taking its time with it, like taking your time with a child.
That's exactly how I thought in my head. Like when you're visualizing it, you're just like gently rubbing, I love you, I'm going to keep nurturing you. And, you know, that's how this movie seemed like he really put so much love and passion into this thing.
Big time. And I never thought I'd say it, but I'm getting tired of the neon shit, and that's like my brand. And I'm just like, all right, that's enough. Can we bring it back to more stuff like this? We need more passion like this, and we need more storytelling like this for our horror films.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I couldn't agree more. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Brain Stew. We got to thank our guest Joe from Movie Dumpster for joining us again. The last time he joined us, we talked about The Prowler, and that episode came out back in the fall. So if you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and download it. And Joe, for our listeners that are uninitiated when it comes to Movie Dumpster, tell them a little bit about it and where they can find it.
Oh, well, we're a movie review podcast as well, and we cover the spectrum of B movies, and we get them out of the dumpster, and we bring them to you, hidden gems, out there oddities, all kinds of good stuff. You can find us at moviedumpsterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube now, youtube.com/moviedumpster. We're in the video format, as we like to say. Yeah, check us out. And again, huge thanks to Epic Film Guys for having me again. It's always a blast hanging out with you guys and talking movies, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. You're welcome anytime, and we look forward to any opportunity to collaborate with you guys. You're absolutely slaughtering it. So props on that,
Gotta get you guys on the show, man. Gotta get you guys on the show again.
We're down anytime, baby. Anything, anytime.
Hell yeah.
But Jeremy, if our listeners want to find us, this is the time where, you know, you need to tell them where they can find us.
Thanks for mentioning that, Justin. So if you want to leave some comment messages about the Brain Stews, you can go on www.geocities.com/B_S_156stew.
I only got Angel Fire, brother. I don't know what.
My nephew Jesse, he just uploaded a new picture that he took of me at the diner, and I was looking totally baller, kid. So you should fucking totally go to our website and check it out and leave us a review message text. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. So ladies and gentlemen, we're on every single podcast platform. If you're listening to this, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. But again, as I said earlier in the show, I can't say it enough. If you like what you're hearing, head over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. And also, if you're listening on Spotify, it's even easier. Just have to leave a star rating, and that's it. It's all you got to do. But again, thank you, Joe, for coming on the show. And thank you guys for listening to this episode. And we'll be back again with more gory goodness for your eardrums. And as we always like to say, we ask you to keep it creepy. Brain Stew!